Alright, more Diablo 4 rambling. I'm fired up, man. What do we talk about? There's so much to talk about. I was thinking about what's the purpose of a game? Like, what are you designing it to do? It's a very basic question. I think the first place to look for an answer is in my memories. What do I remember about D2? And what do I not? And the things I remember aren't the stats on the gear or anything like that. Or the lore, really. I don't really remember the hundreds of builds I must have made. What I remember are stories about people and friends. Here's an example. You go into a dueling game because you want to duel. And you don't just start dueling right away. You got a stash full of gold. You need to hide it somewhere. Because in this game, if you die, you lose a huge chunk of your gold. The more gold you have, the more gold you lose. It's a brutal mechanic. Fucking brutal. I've lost hours of gold farming just because I forgot to take it out before dueling. So anyway, you gather up your gold, and you're looking through the waypoint list, just looking for some random waypoint. Act 2 Dry Hills or something. You drop your gold and then you go back to Act 1. And you duel for like an hour. And then of course when you're done dueling, you go back to the Dry Hills and your gold is gone. Because other players have a concept of other minds. They know that people tend to hide their gold near waypoints. And I think that reflects the unique approach that the designers of Diablo 2 had, that the designers of Diablo 3 didn't have. It's freaking hilarious, right? But designers today would look at that and say, we can't have that. We can't have people losing their gold. They worked so hard for it. It's not fair. We'll just make it so people don't lose gold when they die anymore. They'll look at the way that a system works and see that it's causing the players trouble, and then immediately conclude that that's a bad thing. When it's like, the whole point of a game is to cause players trouble, or else there's nothing for them to do, and there's nothing funny happening, and they don't have challenges to overcome. That was what Diablo 2 did well. It didn't bring people together in funny ways by forcing them together in funny ways. The game just existed in a form where people pursuing their own interests would naturally come together in funny ways. And that subtlety just seems lost on new designers and new games. And I'm not even sure how much of it in the old games was intentional. Like, do I really think that they designed for that to happen in a dueling game for some wise guy to come along and steal it? I don't know. There's no way to know. The way that they would implement dueling in a modern game is they would create a special area specifically for dueling and partition that area off from the rest of the world, where the rules are going to be different here. In this area, you don't lose your gold when you die. And maybe even the skills will just work differently. They'll be better balanced for PvP. And maybe that's even something we want in the game, because it opens the doors to an esport environment and a spectator sport environment, and all the types of people who like that sort of thing better than they like a full RPG sort of game. But me being an RPG kind of guy, I have to say, when the world is partitioned off like that, the rules are different in different places. It does ruin the immersion in some measure. And when you partition off enough places, it doesn't feel like a world anymore. It breaks my suspension of disbelief that I am this character, struggling to carve out a place for myself in this strange, scary world. And it reminds me that I'm just playing a game. It's all fake and temporary and none of it really matters. And I guess I just prefer games that don't remind me of that all the time. Whatever magic trick RPGs do, to get me immersed in them and invested in my character. The effect gets broken wherever the rules of the world aren't consistent. Here's another story. My Diablo friends and I were kind of pranksters. We would just mess with each other all the time because that's what guys do. But one of the ways we liked to mess with each other was to pretend like we're going to steal their loot. Somebody finds a cool item and then they drop it on the ground like, check it out, look what I found. Now the other guy, he might pick it up and just leave the game. Hey, thanks for the new item. But of course after a little while he'd come back and give it back. So anyway, one of my friends found a storm shield. A legit storm shield. He saw it drop himself. He knows it isn't duped or bugged or anything like that. And we're in Act 1 by the campfire, and he drops it on the ground to show it to me. So I pick it up and look at it for a bit, and then I drop it on the ground again to give it back. As he comes over to pick it up again, I pick it up right before he picks it up, and just hold it on my mouse, and watch him squirm. Then after a few seconds I drop it again, and pick it up again real quick. Then I drop it again and pick it up again real quick. Then I drop it again and pick it up again real quick. Then I start doing it really, really fast. Well, after about 10 seconds of that, my friend is super annoyed, and then suddenly, I can't drop the shield anymore. It's stuck to my cursor. So at this point, I'm in big freaking trouble. I don't know what to do. I'm standing there panicking like, holy shit, dude, I can't drop it. He thinks I'm still joking around. I'm like, no, dude, I'm serious. I can't drop this. What should I do? Should I message Blizzard? And he's either thinking, man, this is a really good joke, or man, this guy just deleted my storm shield. I could take a screenshot of it, send it to Blizzard, and maybe they'll restore it. But that wouldn't prove anything, because a storm shield looks exactly like a steel clash, which is garbage. Anyway, there was nothing else I could do. I couldn't even move. So I was like, maybe if I leave the game and come back, it'll just be there on my cursor. Because it actually works in D2. You can, if you're out of space, you can just leave something on your cursor. And when you enter a new game, you can drop it again and pick it up. So I came back to the game. Everything's riding on this moment. The little loading screen with the glowy door, the doorway fills up with light. And my cursor is empty. There's nothing there. I click it anyway, just maybe it's invisible. Nothing happens. Oh my god! I've never felt worse in my life. I just deleted my friend's legit storm shield. And he's standing there like, I don't fucking believe this. It's only funny afterwards. It wasn't funny when it happened, but it's very funny now. And, so to make up for it, there was really no way to make up for it completely, but I bought him a bugged storm shield. It's way better than the legit one. From one of those gear selling sites. In case he's watching and having PTSD. Sorry, bro. That's a good story. I love that story. Do I think the designers intended for that to happen? Not a chance in hell. I guess it's true what they say about the formula. Comedy equals tragedy plus time.